Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing well. Well, I'm doing some laundry, and I think the dog has finally settled down for her early mid morning nap, not to be confused with her mid morning nap. But I thought I'd seize the opportunity to throw together a little reading update and hobby update. I don't know how substantive this is going to be, but at least it'll be something. So, what have I been reading? Been working on this Cahokia about, well, probably more like a little bit past the halfway mark. And it's been really fascinating so far. For anyone who's not familiar, Cahokia was a major Native American city, North American actually. I believe it's the only major city in North America that we know of. And it's peaked, I believe it was around the 12th century. It grew up in the mid 11th. Yeah. And the central mystery of this book is what triggered the explosive growth of this city. Because the way it occurred, there was an older settlement located at Cahokia, which is right across the river from present day St. Louis, actually. And very rapidly, the old settlement was razed and replaced with a new city with a little bit nicer buildings, broader plazas, larger earthworks, and sounds like the dog wasn't as settled down as I thought. Hmm. But anyway, this new city became the center of the so-called Mississippian culture, which went on to spread really all across the Midwest and the South. It had tremendous influence. So, like I said, the mystery is what's triggered all this. There's some who think there was some kind of contact with Mesoamerican civilizations that might have inspired it. There's even a hypothesis spun that in the 11th century, when all this kind of abruptly happened, that there was a supernova that became visible in 1054, actually. It's can be seen, the remnants of it, as the Crab Nebula today. And astronomers say that that sucker would have been visible during the day for several weeks and will continue to be visible at night for years. So certainly anyone who was familiar with the night sky would have taken note of it. And we have artistic works and writings from North America and East Asia that observers certainly did take notice of it. Oddly enough, no works have survived from Europe or the Near East, but I digress. But yeah, there's a hypothesis that something about that supernova's sudden appearance triggered this massive change. It's, at least the point I am in the book, it's kind of a mystery. So yeah, I look forward to reading and seeing if there's been any kind of elucidation on that question. It's getting into some sites up around Wisconsin where you can see the transition from those people's kind of local traditions suddenly giving way to obvious Cahokian imports. So maybe there'll be some kind of insight there. Yeah, some of the bits and pieces were there even before the 11th century. I mean, mound building had been happening, I believe he said, since 3500 BC, or the earliest ones that have been discovered so far in the lower Mississippi in what is today Louisiana, but nothing on the level of Cahokia. And for a long time, there was resistance among archaeologists to recognize this as a major city. They kept wanting to say, oh, this had to have been a temporary ceremonial center where people would come and basically camp and do their religious thing and then scatter again. But it took the excavation of the so-called Mound 72, where there were massive ceremonial burials accompanied by undeniable evidence of pageantry and, well, human sacrifice, but let's just say theatrical human sacrifice, that made archaeologists say, okay, we've never seen this outside of a major city setting, so more were sold. There was resistance not only because, well, you don't know of any other cities in North America, but also because there was kind of a trend in archaeology at that time. It was childish, actually, that, oh, Native Americans were peace-loving hippie people who never would have done anything like hunted megafauna to extinction or built cities with all the violence that tends to go along with that. So, yeah, that was just, these trends kind of come and go in archaeology at times, but I think I've rambled on long enough. That's Cahokia. Really enjoying it so far. Looking forward to seeing how it turns out. Next book I'll be reading in the Historathon stack I talked about a couple weeks ago will be City of Sacrifice. That'll be about cities and violence in the Aztec civilization, which actually has more ties to Cahokia than I had expected. I talked about the pageantry of sacrifice that apparently occurred right here in good old Southern Illinois. So, yeah, looking forward to that as well. And I will also be reading the, what's it called? The Saga of the Confederates. Yeah, I need to read the other saga for the Saga-long event yet. So, those are my upcoming reads. I'd also like to get something more science-y in there. Science is my first love. Kind of feel like I've been cheating on her with all this historical reading. Hey, I'm 46 and single and live with my parents. I've got to have something, you know. But, yeah, I might even try to squeeze some fiction, something fun in there too. But, yeah, that's my plans for my upcoming reading. And with that, I'll transfer to the hobby update. Talk to you about that here in just a second. Okay, here's what I've been working on. It's this Zodiac puzzle. It's 3,000 pieces. That's the largest puzzle I've ever worked on. And it's been a challenge. And I haven't had as much time to work on it as I might like, but I'll zoom in and try to give you some of the details here. And I think I've got, maybe it's Cancer the crab starting to form there. Those are just some stars, I guess. I think maybe that's Gemini, however you pronounce it. I think I got two faces starting to form there, so yeah. ginormous horns. I'm guessing it's probably Aries. I think that's probably Pisces. Looking kind of ichthyological there, in bits and pieces. And I think that Blue Man Group reject is most likely Aquarius. Kind of makes me want to frolic in a fountain with a bunch of nude hippies or something. Don't tell Scott I said that. I'm guessing that's probably Capricorn. And I don't know if you can see the face very well. Probably Virgo. She probably gets around more than people think. But yeah, that's how it's going. Hope you got something out of this, and I'm glad you decided to join me in any case. I hope y'all are doing well. Let me know what you're up to in the comments. But until I speak with you again, take care. Later days.
But am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?